our speaker. So in 3, 2, 1, I would love to call on Victor Iloh, who is a senior QA engineer at Binance. Remember, I said one of the biggest crypto companies. So he is doing amazing work at Binance. He will be speaking to us on a very interesting topic, which is around no code automation. So for us to get an insight into this particular space. So when it's done, we'll be able to ask questions, and afterwards move on to our games. So our speaker, please come on, you have the floor.
Hi, good day, everybody. I don't know if you can see me.
Yes, we can see and hear you.
All right. Um, I actually thought I was coming to speak about my journey, but no code automation. Uh, you can also factor that in, basically. So, um, let's start with my journey as a QA engineer, how I was able to navigate my way until I landed in Binance, basically. I started off as a normal student back then in school, and while in school, we did like some courses in in school, courses relating to coding, basically. And so I was, as a person, very curious because I was doing electronic engineering at the time. I was not fully into um, computer science where they write code more like every day. Their assignment is basically um, coding and all. But yeah, the little course I did in my second year, it made me pick interest in coding. And so eventually, when I started, um, I learned a few things and you know dropped off. I dropped it off because it wasn't like my area of focus in school. And I think in final year, you know, um, for those of us who are done with school and also who went through school, in final year, it gets to that point where um, you are confused. You begin to ask yourself questions. Oh, what's what am I going to do after school and all of that? And so eventually, I was in that space, right? I was thinking, my head was just going left, right, back, center, and I was trying um, to make a name for myself, basically. And so I remember back then my supervisor um, now referred me towards the end of the last semester. He referred me to a company in Lagos, Synfix, by the way. And so when I came into Synfix, I started off as a developer. I started off as a developer who was writing like Java, but it wasn't strong because, like I didn't do too much while in school. Just like very shallow and all. And so started with Java. I would say I was a bit struggling, and while I was struggling, I don't even know what happened. I was struggling, all right, literally. And so they said, oh, maybe you do better in as a front end engineer. So you do Angular, HTML, CSS, blah blah blah. And so when I opened like YouTube and I was seeing what they were doing in the whole front end thing, I was confused, like literally confused. But then I had to, you know, rise up to the challenge because you either do it or you go home. And I didn't want to go home. So I, you know, I kept learning, trying spending most weekends in the office trying to learn stuff. I was struggling at every point until the density. I went to the density. I said, this front end thing is not really working for me. Uh, I'd like to switch back to doing back end, right? And there was this my friend who was always, yeah, what I go and do Java, do it. You know how to do this thing. So he was always pushing me. We were working in the same company, by the way. So I went to this CTO and I told her, oh, I want to go back to learning Java, da da da. So she assigned me to my research lead, who was meant to carry me along through the journey of being a full-time backend engineer. And so I was given a timeline. I say, so before so and so time, you should be done with this. And so I, I said, okay. I picked it up and I started, I started learning and all of that. But I was just learning, right? I was just learning. I wasn't like contributing basically, right? I wasn't contributing to the organization. And so the research lead at some point he called me and was like, I know you are just learning, right? Because I was like an intern, a pre-copper, let's say. So he said, I know you're just learning, but while you're learning, go and do and this as a QA. You'll be working as a QA for this for our company. And so that euphoria or something where they say like QA are more like the list. And so I was like how are you putting me way below like as a QA? Like come on. And he said, yes, you'll be a QA for so and so time. Once you are done learning your Java, you switch back. Well, as God may have it, I I went in and I started doing the whole QA thing, started learning some principles, knowing that attention to details and all of those things were more like key attributes to being a successful QA while I was learning my backend. And so at some point I met the I met like a tutorial where they said I could do automation as well. And I know Java already. Selenium wasn't going to be like uh, a big deal. And so I started to learn how to do automation as well. And as God may have it, I started pushing codes to, for reviews and all of that. And while at it, um, I was making big progress in my backend. And so they saw the progress I was also making in QA. And so they started, like, they were just lagging, in transitioning me. But this friend of mine, like I said initially, was always on my case. Guy, you need to leave this QA. You need to leave this QA. As humans, it gets to a point where everything is so cloudy and you just need direction, you just need clarification and all of that. And so I went to my closet and I prayed. And I was like, if this if this is what I should do, somehow um, God should just talk to me. And I remember that morning when I walked into the office, my QA lead at the time started just talking about not switching, you know, like it was just from nowhere. He was just talking about a career in QA that it's very interesting, da da da. So I just, after the whole long talk, I just had that as my conviction to this thing. And so um, I stayed back. I was trying to, learn stuff, contribute as well, do a lot of things, and uh, I saw that that guy, like I said, would always come back and, guy, you don't need to be here. Make this switch happen immediately. And somehow along the line, I got like a job that threw me off balance, basically. You know, and I saw some developers who were in my company at the time, like they were like full backend engineers and all of that. Somehow they weren't earning as much as the offer I just landed, and I'm like, whoa, what's this? It happens. Like this is real, right? And so I decided to just concentrate or just pursue this thing. And there was a fuse about DevOps at some point. Oh, everybody was going into DevOps, and I was like, no, I'm going to switch. I started learning stuff about DevOps and all of that. And somehow, just somehow, another kind of offer came, and it confused me again, basically. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stick to being a QA engineer. And it went from there until I landed my job in Binance. And I was doing both automation and what's it called? A manual testing, basically. So that has been my journey, quite challenging, quite challenging as a QA, but worth it at every stage. Like it worth it at every single stage. Um, this is to someone out there, you know, considering, should I really do this? Should I switch? Should I not switch? Should I take this direction? Should I take the other direction? Um, there's a career in QA actually, and I'm speaking right now as someone who had something like this like a couple of years back. There's a career in QA, very profitable, um, very assuring as well, and all of it. Yeah, so I was actually thinking that I was going to speak on everything you need to know about QA, but according to Sadiq, um, which I just got to know by the way, we're going to speak about no code automation. So just like my slides was actually for automation. So I'm going to keep my slides were basically to point you to everything you need to know about QA. But I'm going to more like keep my slides aside and let's just talk about the no code automation tools. Right? We have the automation and the automation
Yeah,
using
Ilo, sorry to break in.
yeah, go ahead, please.
It is fine to take us. It is fine to take us through your slides as prepared.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
It's my screen. Trying to share. Let me know if that's my screen. That's my screen. Um,
Not yet.
okay. Don't know why it's not coming up. But, see. Okay. Okay. Um, I don't know why the button is grayed out. Okay, I think it's. I think I know why. Can you see my slide?
Yeah, it is up now.
Okay. Um, I just finished talking about um, my journey. So let's look at a comprehensive overview of what quality assurance um, is all about, and somehow find a way to put in the no code automation to basically. Um, I believe I don't know if most of us here are QAs, but I'll just take you through. First off, um, quality assurance. What is this quality assurance that we're talking about? It's simply ensuring that the product or service that you're working on, it meets a specified requirement, right? And it has less bulk, because in QA, there are notions where we say there is no bug at all. Um, Having a system that has no bug at all, it's slightly impossible, because there's quite a lot of test cases, um, you know, test scenarios basically for you to cover, to ensure that um, a software or a system is working 100. But as humans, we actually cannot, cover it end to end, right? So that's why it says, and it's free of defects, basically. The importance of quality assurance is that it plays a very crucial role in ensuring that there's customer satisfaction and product reliability, right? Everybody in the software development lifecycle has like a very vital role to play in the process of ensuring quality, basically. But there are specific people who are like designed to check for this quality, right? There are specific people who are designed to check for this quality. Let me just say, let me liken it to like um, to a cookie company, basically, right? That prepare cookie, and you know, for you to actually, for them to actually ship out this product, they need to more like run through a testing phase. Somebody comes to test the cookie to be sure that it has the right amount of sugar, right amount of flour, you know, the whole content in making the cookie is in right proportion, right? Um, you can liken that scenario to who a quality assurance person is, really, right? He is like a policeman. I always like to say this. I see myself as a policeman, as the last man standing. That whatever I am sending out to production has like my trademark on it, and it has to get to a point where I am confident that if I am called up tomorrow and say, what is this, what is this, what is this, how did this go to production, I'm able to defend it, right? So um, this slide here says the importance is, playing a crucial role in ensuring customer satisfaction and product reliability. In QA, actually, we have like several goals, right? But I channeled it into just these into these four um, items basically. First is ensuring product quality. That's like that's why you are hired basically, right? Second is reducing. Remember when I said it cannot be you cannot have a case where there is no error, like at all, right? And that's why I have reducing defects and errors to the barest minimum, enhancing customer satisfaction. Because when the quality of the product is good, the customers are happy. When the customer is happy, the company is happy. And when your company is happy, somehow, um, you as employees are also rewarded, basically. Um, Quality assurance helps to improve the development process, where, you know, especially if you are using if you are working in an agile environment, it helps to improve the development process whereby things are being churned out very fast to production. Um, a lot of bugs are being found right on time before it gets to production and all. Um, Next off is the QA process overview. Um, we have the requirement analysis, more like the steps basically. We have the requirement analysis where you first have to understand what is the client's need and expectation. You go through the acceptance criteria, go through the use cases, go through the user stories and all of that, right? Trying to understand what you are actually even going to be testing, basically. Then you create a comprehensive test plan, you know, creating a comprehensive test plan where you talk about the resources that you are going to be using, what is this test strategy that you are going to be using, and all of those things. Then you, you talk about the test design, where you now start developing test cases based on the plan that based on the requirement analysis that you have. That's the requirements from all the user stories and all of those items that you've actually checked. Start the execution process of testing, um, trying to identify your defect, you know, identify your defects and knowing how to report these issues. A lot of QAs have issues of they know how to find this issue, but they don't know how to report. They don't know how to report their issues basically. So um, regression testing as well. It's just when you are done reporting, they go fix the issue, they bring it back. You test again, and if everything is good, you do like a regression testing to be sure that the new codes that were pushed into staging, for instance, is not breaking something existent before that was actually working. So do all of those check. I think in the regression phase is where um, we get to bring in our automation part, right? This is where after you're done testing, um, retesting, you do your regression, send your automation, whether you wrote it via code or via no code. Send in that what's it called, that automation to do those checks for you, generate a report as well, and share um, share what's it called, the reports. Um, we have different types of testing: the functional test, non-functional test, manual test, automation test, performance testing. Performance testing, I like performance testing because um, it actually shows the capacity of what has been built, basically, right? The capacity of what has been built is able to stand um, a certain traffic, As QAs, it's crucial that you know how to do performance testing. Right, you go into a lot of interviews, and um, some of them are just channeling their energy, trying to understand how you are able to, test test stuff around 100,000 users. How are you going to, you know, do all of those things using JMeter and the likes of it? So yeah, having to understand that performance testing is like a team. Security testing to check for vulnerabilities as well. User acceptance testing, and also regression testing, which we just spoke about. Um, uh, all the various forms of or the various types of testing. What are the benefits of QA basically? Early detection of defects, right? You get to see these these issues early before they get to production. Because when they get to production, it's now probably um, found by the client, and when that happens, it is cost is more cost effective because we now have to go back and restart the whole process again, trying to push the fixes back to production. So early detection of defects, QA helps us to do that. Um, it helps us to do that. It helps in cost savings, improved customer satisfaction, enhanced software reliability, and consistent product quality. I think QA best practices before the final um, stuff I'll be talking about. Collaboration between development and QA teams. There has to be this synergy. Um, I know one of my manager back then or right now. He'll tell me, yes, you are friends while you're outside of work, but once it's work, he's not a friend again or she's not a friend again. Just have to ensure that there's no friendship while you're testing. But collaboration should exist while you're testing, trying to um, give steps to recreate some issues and all of those things. Continuous integration and continuous testing as well. It's more like best practices, um, where you finish writing your code, you're trying to integrate it to you know some pipelines so that you're testing continually once there's a build change and all of that. You test early and you test often. These are best practices. Use of automated testing tools, documentation, as well as reporting. Um, Finally, QA. What are the challenges in QA basically? Um, there's time constraints. You have a lot to test. But in as much as you have a lot to test, product wants you to go live. Product just wants you to go live. That's their main aim. So while they are even talking to some clients, they are saying, okay, don't worry, we'll give you 2 weeks. And 2 weeks, you have to build, you have to test, you have to deploy to production, basically. So we have time constraints. Why testing doesn't give us ample time to test a lot of stuff that we should have tested. Um, we have changing requirements. Most times, you are testing, and somehow the client is coming back to say, oh no, we don't need this login button here. I think we need it here, or we need this requirement, this and that, and just changing requirements. There's this back and forth. Oh, now I have to go and start again, change what we've used before, test environment issues. Sometimes the servers that they use in our staging environment, it's not like the ones that we use it's not like the ones we use on prod basically. And so some of these issues that staging normally have, right, is just there right in the front. Sometimes you can't even do some kind of testing staging. You have to be in production because you are working in a financial institution, and then you can't be using. There's no live key basically on staging to actually test that these faults are deducted and they're credited displays, something like that. Um, Also, lack of collaboration. There seems to be lack of collaboration most times with developers. And maybe when you're fighting, it's not your friend. It's not even we are not even trying to collaborate and all of that. So these are some of the challenges that we face, and then resource constraints as well. Um, resource constraint is also like the thing. Most times, that timeline they are giving to you, you just have to you know wrap it up and give it to the product or push it to prod. But because there are less people working on testing and all of that, it poses off as a challenge in quality assurance. I think that's all I wanted to talk about. Um, for automation, uh, we have the Selenium. That's for web automation. You can use Selenium. You can use Cypress. You can use Cypress. You know, pick any what's it called, any automation tool that you feel comfortable with, or any language that you are also comfortable with. You can work with that. You can use JMeter for your load testing. You can use Appium. You can use Appium for your mobile testing as well. Um, I'd also advise a lot of people who I engage with to know these things basically, because you never know which employer you're going to meet in the next interview, what they're actually looking for. So in order to be market ready, you have to know like all of these things combined. Yeah, I think that's all. Um, yeah, for people that want to do no code, you can use Selenium Grid. I think it's also a tool that I've used. Um, trying to do a no code kind of automation basically. Um, I think that's it for my presentation. I don't know if there's any question. I'll be happy to take any before I leave.
Wow, interesting. Thank you very much, Victor. Um, it was quite interesting following through with your journey. It was like I was a part of it. Like I could see the pictures moving from point to point. It was quite insightful. So quickly over the next couple of minutes, people who have questions should please start to come up with your questions. You can drop them in the chat box if you don't want to speak. So while we await questionings, so I would want us to start getting set for our games. So our games coordinator, Mr. Ibrahim, should also be getting set. So I'll allow Ibrahim to join in now and just give us some directions and instructions into how to play the game. But please, your questions, keep them coming in. So we're just trying to maximize time so that we can keep this session under an hour. So while game is ongoing, you can drop the questions. Then afterwards, our guest speaker will then start to treat those questions one after the other. So Ibrahim, please, are you up now?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good morning. So we have the link to the trivia game on the message you can call messages. So you guys should click on the link and register for the games for the game.
Okay, thank you, Ibrahim. So please, we have the link to the game in the chat box. Let us click on the links. So we'll allow time for registration over the next 2 or 3 minutes just for us to get registered. Like I mentioned earlier, it is a couch-like game where we would have to answer certain questions. Well, same questions will be answered by everybody under a time constraint, of which in real time we then start to see the winners of the game as each questions come up. So we'll just be giving us the next 3 or so minutes to register, and then the game will begin proper. So we have 10 players already. Okay, back to mine now. Right, as the game started, it looks like it has.
Yeah, the game has started.
Okay. Okay, so question one down. That is one of 12. What is the primary advantage of using no code test automation tools to accelerate test cycles? Interesting. Reduce test coverage, faster testing, testing, testing. Is this Scandium one? Person seems to be cheating the system. So question three about to go down. What kind of testing is this? Usability, compatibility, security, performance. Or more. Beyonce. Of shift left testing. Nice testing about it. The testing to detect conflicts. That's how we need it. Beyonce is leading. Let me see who pick wrong answer here. Beyonce and Scandium keeping it real close. One or two more questions to go.
Yeah, so we have our winner. Let's see who gets the prize.
Who is our winner?
Yeah.
Our winner is Beyonce.
Wow. She has been. I mean, is he or is she? She has
Beyonce,
been
I
on.
want to know you.
Beyonce, please let us know you. Who is Beyonce?
It's me.
Wow. Congratulations! Just won our cash prize for the fifth edition of Scandium Test Drive. So yeah, so I can't see the person that is saying it's me.
Beyonce, I
Okay,
want to see your face.
okay, I can see her hand.
So I'm
So
outside.
okay, you were with us at the last test drive bar. I can see the
Yes.
name. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for preparing for this session. So, Sadiq, you can continue.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for the participation. Believe that was that was nice. That was interesting. Seeing the moves, and congratulations to Beyonce once again. I see they later kicked Scandium one, whoever that is, down the pecking order. And shout out to our second player as well, Abib, and to the third player, 10.
Okay.
I wish you better luck next time.
Sorry, Sadiq. We have a
Yeah.
question in the comment section.
Yes. So now away from the game and back to questions. For our guest speaker, we have one question already. So, Victor, someone is asking or saying that can you share how difficult or easy it was to get a QA job at Binance?
Okay. So Binance is just like your normal company. It's just like the normal company out there. It just the name that it has. How easy it is. I'd say quite. I'll say not quite easy because there were a lot of stages to you know there were a lot of stages. The whole recruitment process was easy. You just have to know like your onion, know everything about many things. Um, be crypto inclined, and yeah, because they ask Web3 stuffs and all of that. So yeah, I'll say easy and not easy. Just depends on what you know, basically.
Okay, I think I know what to do next. So I'll start to learn a lot about many things and start to know about crypto and Web3. Then hopefully in 2 days' time, I can land a job in Binance too as a QA engineer slash tester. So thank you, Victor. Any more questions? We are really running out of time. So, do you have anyone else who wants to ask a question before we start wrapping things up? So, if I'll do a countdown. Okay. So, Victor, how can we reach you? Do you have social media links you can share with us that people can get to come into contact with you? LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or X, Threads, TikTok. What other social media platform do we have? So how can we reach you? How can people connect with you? Hello, Victor. Victor, if you are speaking, your mic is muted. Okay, I guess there's a connection issue of some sorts. So we'll just wait a couple more seconds for additional questions.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
so we have another question. Okay,
How,
Victor, can hear you now.
okay, how can you reach Victor? Yeah, you can connect with me via LinkedIn. My name is Victor Iloh. Um, yeah. In what way do I think AI can revolutionize the software testing? Um, I think it still boils down to what um, uh, automation is doing basically, right? Because I'd say, mm, I'd say, I don't know, but it cannot, it cannot, AI cannot override manual testing. Basically, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know yet in my head. So I'm answering based on right now in my head. So yeah, maybe we can actually all browse about and talk to them consuming. I think while you're considering factors to actually, you know, to look into basically why you're trying to choose an automation tool, you also look at the market, right? You know those things where they say write code because of passion. Okay, it's okay, oh, but you're also writing code to make money, basically, right? You look at the market structure. Um, you look at what is the trend, basically, right? You have little to no code automation all around than you have the one with where you have to write scripting, basically, where you have to write code to automate. So if you check these factors, check the market, check trends, basically, right, then you'd be able to make a decision on which one to adopt. Yeah.
Okay, so Abib, if you have answers to your question, and I believe you don't have any more questions. So I
Okay.
want to use this opportunity to say a very big thank you to our guest speaker in person of Victor Iloh. We appreciate you taking time out to come and share your story and your journey with us. So we appreciate you coming out here to share your story and journey with us and giving us some insights into the QA ecosystem and into your mind, really. So we thank you so much. And to every member of our audience, to everyone who has come here to listen today, we also appreciate you on behalf of myself and everyone at Scandium. We say a very big thank you to you. And to the winner of our game as well, I want to believe your account details has been collected for your cash prize. Uh, so please, if it has not been done, Ibrahim, please see to it that she gets a reward. Um, Again, just a reminder, test drive is organized by Scandium, and at Scandium, are building a no-code test automation tool that is meant to make life easier for you, um, software developers, QA engineers, software testers, and practically every product stakeholder in the software development and delivery lifecycle. So we do this every month to help improve the community, to play our part in making the community better, making the community grow, and helping also businesses and organizations see the importance of software testers because again, we are very important in the delivery of quality products, and as such, we must make organizations see this impact because again when we are missing in the chain things go wrong, things go bad. So to wrap things up, we have someone raising hand, Dean something. If you have a question, please quickly ask before we call this a day.
Yeah, so let me just
But
read this.
then,
Okay, so Fentola, you can message me on WhatsApp. I have my number on the chat box. So you can message me on WhatsApp to your account number. Thank you.
okay, thank you. Um, but then how would you verify she's one messaging? Because I could message you to yes or
Yeah,
no.
yeah, yeah. So she should bring guy nine along. Or you don't have a nine.
Problem. Okay, Fentel, I believe you got the message. Please reach out to Ibrahim so that you can get your someone is already impersonating. So again, we'll do this monthly. So most definitely we'll be seeing you next December. Next December is going to be very, very very interesting. We're bringing someone very big in the tech ecosystem in general to come say one or two things about software testing. Is um, very passionate about the software testing industry and the tech ecosystem in general. So the December edition is not something you want to miss at all. It is going to be interesting. It's going to be massive. It's going to be insightful and fun filled. But until then, I would say we are thankful for having you and we hope to see you again soon. That will be all. And bye from me and the Scandium team. So, bye.
Okay, so Fentola, if you are still on the call, you can just message me on WhatsApp. I'll bring your nine along.